want to have a predictable system, they buy a franchise. And if you're going to buy a franchise, minimum it's going to be $10,000, $50,000. McDonald's franchise probably $500,000 to $1 million. True or false? What are you buying when you buy that system? Process. Yes. What else?
Recognition.
You could be buying yourself a job, you don't even know it. But what you're buying is you're buying something that Dr. talked about, predictable outcome, right? We're talking about predictable delivery mechanism, reduced variation. So, but there comes along with that some responsibilities: employees, overhead, lease, equipment, inventory, etc. I mean, every business is different. But what about this business? What's the overhead for Take Shape for Life? A couple $100 to get started, a couple $100 to get training certification. I think that unfortunately, if people had to spend $50,000 to start with Take Shape for Life, how many think they'd take it more serious? So sometimes that low cost thing, people don't take it as serious as it could be. What if you could start a business for $400 that could allow you to have your life back? What if it was possible? Well, that's what it means to be a trilliologist, right? What does a trilliologist mean to you? If you right now were integrated, global, integrated presidential, and you had that life of your dreams, what would your morning look like? What would you wake up first thing and do? Who? Tell me one thing. Raise your hand.
Go to the beach.
Wake up and go to the beach. What else? Wake up and exercise. What else? Time with my kids, right? What happens now with your kids? They get up, they go to daycare and school, I go to work. What happens right now when you wake up? Do you go to the beach?
I live in Arizona.
Right now I live in Arizona, it's hard to get to the beach. So, as I go through this workshop, I want you to make sure that no matter what tactic, you talk about aim to stay, strategies, tactics, actions, no matter what tactics, strategies, tools we give you, your why, you're waking up with the beach, you're waking up with your kids, you're being able to do the things that matter most to you are what's going to drive the action that makes a reality. True or false? True. So no matter what tactics we give you, it's up to you. Are you treating your business, Take Shape for Life, like a hobby or like a profession? I'm not asking you to answer the question, but to yourself, you're the only one who knows. Do you wake up with at least as much discipline as an employee who's going to show up to work every day? Or do you sometimes make excuses and put things off? Do you say, I'm going to get around to that when I have more time? Because one of my mentors says, his name is Marshall Thurber, he goes, there's results or there's excuses. And it's one or the other. Now, how many of you agree no matter how good your life is today, it's because there's a whole bunch of decisions and actions that you've taken in the past, and that's what's put you are today. True or false? True. It is fair to say that where we are in the next 2 to 3 years is going to be the sum of the decisions and the actions we take for the next couple of years. Yes?
Yes.
So I'm going to give you what I think is the fast track. It's up to you to do the actions. Are you ready to go pro?
Yes.
All right, so professional doesn't leave things to question. One of Deming's quotes, Dr. Ray talked about Deming. One of Deming's quotes was, you can't improve what you don't measure. How are you going to know whether you're getting healthy or not if you never step on the scale? How are you going to know if you are successful in business if you don't check your back office and know where your team is and where you are, right? You got to track. So we're going to talk a lot about that. We're going to talk about the number one thing I'm going to focus on today is managing your calendar. How to manage your calendar, and then what to do. What are the best things that return a high return on investment? What are the activities that maximize your performance? Those are called key performance indicators. And we're going to talk about some of the things that get in the way. Does that sound good?
Yep.
All right, let's get started. So there is no such thing as time management. Because we all get the same 24 hours. We all get the 7 days a week. We all get the same 168 hours a week. The only question is what do you do with your 60 minutes, your 24 hours, right? And are you getting the results that you want? That's all that matters. So it's really not about that. It's about where you invest your time and your energy. How many of you agree? That's a limited thing. Your energy and your attention is where you put it. Whatever you put your attention on is what grows. You focus on what you don't want, what do you get more of? Right. If you focus on what you want to create, what do you get more of? What you're trying to create. So really it's about priority management. Time management is about priority management, knowing what matters and making the daily choices. So, how do you juggle it all? Does anyone feel like this lady? You got all these balls in the air? Well, does she look like she's having fun? Do you think she's dropping a few balls? If she keeps that up, where will she be? Under the balls, right? Looking for air. How many of you feel like that lady at points in your week or your month? Okay? So the answer to this question is very simple. You don't. You don't juggle it all. You need to prioritize. Here's my little slide. Oh no. Okay, so there's another slide that's right here after this lady with one guy juggling 3 balls. Healthy body, healthy mind, and healthy finances. One-handed with a smile on his face. Careless, effortless ease. Have you ever seen somebody do that? Can you juggle 3 balls with one hand?
No.
Can you juggle 25 balls? If you're a master, yes. But most people, 3 balls, with a little bit of practice, you can do it. So that's what I want to do. I want you to focus on a couple of things. We're going to focus on how much time do you have, first of all. And I'd love to have a volunteer come up. And here's the criteria. Somebody that either has a full-time or part-time job, and they are doing Take Shape for Life. Maybe they've been in the business. They're somewhere between at least a manager, so they have a few clients, so they have a little experience with the business. Would there be anyone who would like to be a volunteer to come up? Okay, she was the first one, lady in the blue dress. Right behind you, actually. Sorry. Yeah, you're in the blue dress. Yes.
Does he get
Oh, no, where's my blood chart? Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. We can do this. Okay, we're just going to meet. Okay. Because normally I have a flow chart and I can check it. So I'm going to need somebody in the audience to help me. Somebody pull out a calculator and somebody take down some notes for me, because normally I can write this up and then we can do this. So what we're going to do is I'm just asking you 2 questions. And for us to get through this quickly, I need you to kind of like just answer the question and don't tell the whole story, but just like try to focus on just the questions. Okay?
Yes.
All right. What's your name?
Margie Johnson.
Nice to meet you.
Great to meet you.
All right. So we're going to start. We're going to look at where are you currently spending your time, okay? So you can get this chart actually through TTS on the website, the Trilogy Training website. You can download a document on one of my previous time management workshops that gives you this little worksheet, okay? What we're going to ask you is like your sleep, your day job. We're going to talk about like your current schedule, and then we're going to talk about where you might be able to find tune. Okay, so right now, how many hours of sleep do you normally get per night?
Well, I have 2 kids, a 3-year-old and 5-year-old, and so they break up my night. And then probably about 5.5 hours.
Okay, so is that 5 nights a week?
7 nights.
Thank you, sorry. Okay, so what I do is I put the 5.5 hours times 7, and then we need a total. So somebody work on that for me. I'm going to keep going. Next is your day job. Do you work 5 days a week with your day job?
I do.
And then how many hours a day?
8.5.
7 days a week with your day job.
I'm a property manager, so
Okay.
I work on site probably 7 to 9 hours a day.
7 to 9 hours a day. Okay. 7 days a week?
6 to 7.
So let's just go with 8 hours times 7, 56, right? So write that down. That's the second column. Next is we're going to talk about your family time. So 2 kids, 2 and 4, something like that. 3, 5. So that's busy. So how much time would you say is dedicated to taking care of your family, taking care of the house, that kind of stuff?
Probably about 5 hours.
5 hours a day?
Probably 7 hours, I'd say, for kids and home and laundry and shopping. And
7 hours a day?
Uh-huh.
7 days a
The
week?
kids are home with me while I'm working.
Okay. So there's an overlap between your work, your TSFL work, and your family time?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So if you were to say, so we say 5 or 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, what would you like to say?
Yeah, about 6 hours would be right.
Okay, let's go 6 times 7 for that count. Okay, the next column is personal, you time. This is where a lot of people actually in a kind of a low score. So what do you do for like your personal, your reading, your exercise, things like that?
And that's where we can work on my life. Probably an hour and a half a day.
Hour and a half a
if
day?
I'm lucky.
That's
Yeah,
pretty good,
that's
not
if I'm
bad.
lucky.
All right,
Less.
is anyone feeling like they can relate to some of her story so far? Good. This is for everyone. And you should be answering these questions for yourself as we go through, and you should be writing down your numbers, because we're going to come back into your calendar in just a minute. Okay, so we got her personal, which was an hour and a half times 5 days or 7?
7 days. Well,
7.
yeah, that's 7 days.
Okay, hour and a half times 7, thank you. And then the total over there. Are there any other big important boulders, things that are important to you? ongoing things like church, like a dance club, or something that you have you're taking care of your mom, and she's not feeling well. Is there anything else that's a major boulder that needs to go in there?
Oh, that's a great question.
It's currently happening in your life.
Yes, so church takes up some time, about 5 hours a week.
Okay.
And then my husband has some autoimmune diseases, so I'm taking care of him.
Is that part of your family time, this 6 to 7 hours?
I'd probably say about 2 hours a week.
A week?
Spending time, making appointments for him and
Okay.
medications.
Okay, so the church is going to be 5 hours for the week, and then for the husband, the caring is about 2 hours per week, so that's another 7 hours total over here.
Okay.
Right? Now we need to add those numbers up, please. 154. Okay? Now subtract one, that number would go right here, 154. Subtract 154 by 168.
14 hours.
So you got 14 hours unaccounted for.
Okay. Woohoo!
But guess what? Nature abhors a vacuum. And how many of you found that there's always more projects than there is time to do them, right? So there's going to be stuff that's going to try to sneak into your life. Now, I'm not saying that that's the ideal calendar, but that's what it is. That's what it is right now. Now, where is Take Shape for Life? If you were to say how many hours a week do you work Take Shape for Life?
Well, I'm trying to actually build in time to Take Shape for Life into everything first because it's a priority. So about 2 to 3 hours a day is what I'm trying to squeeze in right now, but a lot of interruptions. So that's why I'm
Because
here.
you're doing it from home.
Yes.
You're running. FIEC, Executive Director. Okay. And how many clients do you manage?
I have 28 clients. Yeah.
So 2.5 hours a day, 5 days a week is your TSFL time, right? And that's what, 10 hours a week?
Yeah.
No, it'd be 14 hours a week.
Yeah.
14 hours a week, which is almost exactly, so we really have sounds like a tight schedule here. So now what we would do with her is we would say, are there any things, is your Take Shape Life time right now giving you what you need for your business? Is that 2.5 hours enough for you to reach your goals with Take Shape Life?
I'd like to be spending more because I want the business to grow, but the amount of time that I've spent so far has gotten me, I was ED in 34 days, and so I'm excited to learn what I can and help it grow, but I want to invest more time into it.
Okay.
I'm trying to, I'd love to scale down on my day job and spend more time on this.
Great, so what, as an empathetic coach, I want what she wants. I want for you to have more time to Take Shape for Life. So if you tell me that's what you want, we're going to work with you. Now, I'm not your mentor, so I'm not going to actually give you specific advice, but I'd like to give you some general ideas that you guys can all use to go back to your mentors and do the same process with them, okay? Does that make sense? Will you promise me not to make any major decisions right here until you run it by your mentor, yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you. So you want to scale back, and let's do a little reality check. And you guys all to do this with me. Your day job, you're working how many hours a week? What was it for her day job? Oh, you mixed it.
Yeah, it was like 42.
Yeah.
42.
Well,
It's more than
Oh,
that.
no, it was like 56
It's like
hours.
60,
Yeah.
yeah.
60 hours a year. Do you get paid a salary or an hourly rate?
Salary.
Salary. Is a salary a scary thing?
Yes.
It can be because then your numbers of hours per week. So we've got, if you do the math, somebody do the math, help me out. She works 60 hours a week, and she gets paid what per month? So you're also per month.
I get my apartment and $600.
So add that up. The apartment, cost of the apartment is what?
It's about, so all benefits included, about $2,200 a month.
Okay, so 22 divided, so here's how you do this formula. If you want to figure out your hourly job, if you don't know your hourly rate, you take your monthly income divided by 4. So 22 divided by 4 is what? 550. Now divide that by 60 hours.
I know.
Less than 9.25, $9.16 an hour.
$9.16 an hour. So write that down. That's her hourly rate at her day job. $9. So just round up to 10.
Forgot the 600.
No, I included that. Cost of the apartment is $600 plus utilities.
Now, let's give her TSFL. As an executive director, what's including all your bonuses and everything, that your weekly check plus your monthly check, what's your average income as a PD?
$3,500.
Okay, so somebody do 3,500 divided by 4, and then divided by 14 hours a week.
62.50.
So write this down. She's making $62.50 an hour with Take Shape for Life. An hour with this business.